Straight from the trash can, this is Race.
And this is Amber.
Glad to be back.
Again.
It's been so goddamn long. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry to everyone. Everyone. I'm here. I'm set up here. Got my computer and everything. It's nice. So you'll probably hear some keyboard at some point when I'm frantically looking something up that I want to fact check.
Fact check. Who needs facts?
I'll say something confidently and you'll just hear the click, 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 click. I'm sorry.
He's not sorry.
I'm editing this. I'll cut it all out. It'll be great.
Yep.
Anyway, so I'm here. I'm staring at my Kira Miki poster. Woo. So, last season of anime. We're getting strongly into the new season. We should have talked about this already.
Yeah, but hey, we're finally done. It actually took a while to get finished with everything, even after it was done.
Yeah.
There were some shows that we both kind of got back on.
Yeah, definitely. There's a couple shows we didn't end up finishing. Sorry.
For various reasons. Both of us dropped Gun Gale eventually.
Yeah, I just couldn't be bothered. It's an alright show. I'm sure that it gets good. But the whole plot point that I fell off on was dumb. I fully recommend you go watch it and tell me how dumb it is.
Yeah, I just don't care.
Okay.
I also ended up not finishing Yotsu Urabiori. Not for any particular reason. It's a fine show. I was actually enjoying it. I just ended up with too many other things to do. To watch a show that I was enjoying but wasn't really invested in. And that's kind of the problem with shows like that, is that even though they're good and you can enjoy them, episode to episode, if you're not invested in it, it's just, it just doesn't work.
I totally get that. A lot of slice of life show like that for me, where I end up getting to episode 8 of 12, and somehow I just never finish them.
You just kind of realize that you never really cared.
Speaking of never cared, I never finished Crossing Time. Yeah, it would take me 15 minutes at this point to finish that show. So, that tells you about how good it is. The first episode is so strongly better than everything else in the entire series.
Well, they started with their best foot forward and then just tumbled down a flight of stairs or something.
Yeah. Yeah, that show's whatever.
So as far as shows we actually finished.
Yeah, so first up I think is Space Battleship Tiramisu.
Oh, yeah. I liked this show a lot more than I thought I was gonna.
I knew I was gonna like this show.
It's more your style.
It's a mech show. It's comedy.
Yeah, it's definitely more your style and a lot less mine, but the comedy was good. It was solid. It was
a little weird at times.
But that was good.
Yeah, it did fall a little bit weird a couple of times.
Well, it got weird when it started introducing an actual plot.
Yeah, and then abandoning the plot immediately. And then bringing the plot back. And then abandoning the plot like there is no hope for it.
Yeah.
It kept going in this yo-yo fashion on that.
And then at the end, they're getting another season.
Yeah.
So it definitely ended in expectation of that second season.
Yeah, it's I don't even really know what to say about that ending. It's kind of weird.
It really wasn't one. It feels more like a split core.
Yeah.
Than it is a first and second season.
Is that the one that's coming out winter next year or something?
I think so. Here, why don't I look it up?
Alright, you can look that up. I don't think there's a lot more to say. It's what you expect. It's absurdist comedy in space. in a robot show. It was really enjoyable, like 7 minutes an episode on average.
Oh,
So,
it's coming out in October
oh shit.
of this year.
Okay, so, well, we'll talk about that next season. We'll keep watching that. Maybe we'll have more to say about the overall plot then.
I don't really care about the plot. It's just a funny show.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel too. I really don't want to say anything more about it. Like, otherwise we go into like, oh, the pubic hair episode or anything.
Oh, Pubes-san. I cry. But yeah, it's. I don't know how strongly I would actually recommend the show
Yeah, it's a hard one to recommend.
because the comedy is really weird.
Yeah, it's not a show I would like recommend everyone should pick up, but it's a show that I'd say stick with if you're enjoying it. It's a show that I will pitch to certain people.
People who like mech shows, I think, will appreciate it. There's a lot of inside humor there, I think.
There is more at the beginning, and in the like actual plot line. That's all next show bullshit.
Yeah, because I didn't get a lot of it, but I knew that it was supposed to be a reference to something.
I mean, you were watching Darlie and the Franks.
Okay, yeah, fair. Okay, what's next?
Golden Kamuy?
Golden Kamuy. Oh my god.
I really like the show. The CG never gets better.
Oh god, it really doesn't. But actually, after a while, I kind of stopped caring.
I never did. I still care.
It's more like a roll your eyes, like, and not this shit again, more than anything
Yeah.
else. Because after a while, I was actually very invested in the story.
Yeah, it's getting another season, and
I am so happy for
I
that.
hope they fire everyone on the CG team.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I hope. I hope the director gets his head out of his ass. I hope so much for it.
Although at this point, would you really want a change of style?
For the CG, yes.
Okay, maybe. If they animated it a bit more like Retar.
Yeah. If they animated it,
Yeah.
like fuck, I'd rather the bears were on popsicle sticks. We talked about this. Like,
Yeah.
it stays that bad.
Yeah, I know. You're a bit more actually personally offended by it, I think.
Yeah.
Which is weird because at first I think I was.
Yeah.
But I ended up just enjoying the show so much.
I really did enjoy the show. It is a great story, and it's a decent adaptation of the manga from what I've heard.
Yeah, and it's really compelling. I ended up enjoying characters that I didn't think I would. Like Shiraishi, the Escape King.
Oh, Shiraishi is one of my favorites. Easy.
He is the best. Although I did enjoy Professor Penis as well. Yeah, I don't know how much I can really say about him without too many spoilers, because you just kind of get it when you see it.
Yeah, that's just like, if you've seen the episode, you know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
He's a hell of a character.
And also just Professor Penis.
Yeah. Dick Sensei.
But yeah, no, this is actually a show I would recommend to a lot of people.
Yeah, I'd say I've known people who had a hard time getting past the animation. Yeah, because the first episode, it does have some stilted animation. I have a friend who is complaining about the animation, and I'm like, I think he started nitpicking it too much. I'm like, I'm really tempted to sit him down and make him watch an episode of an anime.
Yeah.
Because if you sit down and watch an episode of an anime under that lens, you will hate every second of it.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
Okay, let's be honest on some things. Anime isn't well animated.
Not generally, no.
But by animation standards, like, under, like, the principles of animation done by Disney, most anime is badly animated. Most characters don't move in every scene, for example.
Yeah.
Like, it's all for production stuff. And, you know, we see this in, like American media for like kids cartoons.
Yeah, because who gives a shit, right?
Yeah, like it's a lot of anime is like just above Hanna-Barbera level as far as the amount of frames of animation they have.
That's harsh but accurate.
Yeah.
But I mean,
they're not drawing on cells, so they get a little advantage, but
yeah, but knowing how the industry works and how anime actually gets made, it makes sense that they have to cut so many corners.
yeah.
Because if they didn't cut so many corners, nothing would ever get made.
Mm-hmm. That's how we had the like the OVA boom in the 90s.
Yeah, because they could,
Yeah.
take time and do good work and.
When there was 100 anime a year being produced. Yeah, think about that.
Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, so if you like to watch anime, you kind of have to be a little forgiving of wonky animation from time to time.
Yeah.
Most of my favorite shows have it at some point or another.
Oh, yeah.
There was a few, even just from this season, there was a few parts in Otakoi that were really weird.
I mean, I like a lot of animation with a lot of janky tweens because that's part of the style.
Yeah.
The Kill la Kill's a great example. Yeah.
That's the one I was going to use.
If you grab any frame from a Kill la Kill action scene, you'll just be some smears on a page.
Well, I mean, to be fair, that's a lot of animation historically as well.
Yeah.
Which is, again, it's part of the style. But, yeah, you can't just go in and screenshot, random frame and expect it's going to be a masterpiece.
Yeah, it's a really good way to tear down an anime if you're trying to make a point, though.
That's true. That's
there you
true.
go. Yeah.
Some people do that.
Persona 5, the animation. It's a really good one for it.
Oh, yeah. Well, those
It's
so
not great
messed
anyway.
A1 Pictures. Alright, so, Golden Kamui. Excellent. Definitely recommend.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it.
I would give it like an 8 or a 9.
I'd give it a 7 or 8.
Yeah.
I thought it was good, but I thought it had too many flaws.
Yeah, I ended up overlooking the flaws for some stuff that I truly love.
Yeah, like I don't know. It doesn't like, yeah, it doesn't replace anything for me. It's not like this is now the anime I recommend for this style of thing anymore.
True. Oh right. So now
speaking of an anime that is so good it replaces things I would recommend, Megalobox.
Oh my god, yes.
This is an 8 or a 9. This is probably a 9 for me.
I would also give it an 8 or a 9.
Yeah, Megalobox is fan-fucking-tastic. It makes me slightly curious to go watch Ashio no Joe, but also I kind of don't care about anime that old for the most part.
Yeah, we were talking about how you have to be forgiving. You have to be really forgiving for a lot of older anime.
Yeah.
And I think that might be
the oldest anime I'm willing to handle are OVAs, usually. Or movies. Like, the old OVAs and movies look good, but...
Yeah.
Anyway, we're talking about Megalobox.
Yeah. So, Megalobox, the show about boxing.
Oh, fuck. This show is so good. It's... Yeah, I love how it is just a boxing anime.
Oh, yeah.
They start with a premise that makes it more interesting than a boxing anime, and they're like, no, fuck you, it's a boxing anime.
Yeah.
The final fight has no gear.
Which is actually a little problematic, like, from the premise of the show.
Yeah.
Right? The premise of the show is people strap on these mechanical, like, enhancement machines and beat the shit out of each other.
Mm-hmm.
But then the story ends up being about how we didn't really need those things to beat the shit out of each other to begin with. So then why have the things?
Yeah, and like, there's this whole subplot about how it's being used for weaponization, but they also don't want it to be used for weapons. That was a dumb subplot.
Well, yeah, and it all happened in, like, the last episode.
Yeah, because she was hiding it.
Yeah, so why bring it up in the first place? Like,
give it a
they
fucking
should-
reason to exist.
They should have been hinting at it the whole time.
They should have. Yeah, like, and they kind of were. They were hinting at she was up to something. They didn't ever mention what it was.
Yeah.
They're talking about how gear is going to be the future because, you know, gear basically it means you can throw a mortar on someone's shoulder and have them fire it, but they're not weapons. You know, and like the military guy's like, why don't we just put a gun in it? And she's like, no, it's not a weapon. You can just carry weapons with it. It's a really, really dumb scene.
Yeah, it's...
Speaking of dumb scenes, the other dumb scene in the show is when little boy just starts rapping.
Oh my god, what the fuck even was that?
I have no clue what happened there. Like,
I
it
feel
wasn't
like...
a bad rap, but it was like, why does this exist?
Yeah, it was just a little out of character for the rest of the show, especially given that there were other scenes with a rap background.
Yeah, but they weren't in
But
character.
it was soundtrack background, not like in
Well, I think some of them were
universe.
even diegetic, where it was like on a radio.
Yeah, it was just
But-
like some kid listening to the radio, and because I don't even think that kid was a character.
No.
He was just random kid on the street.
Oh
listening
yeah,
to
the
radio.
one that's like in the beginning of a bunch of the episodes.
Yeah.
You know, with the headphones and stuff.
Which is fine. I actually really dug that.
Yeah.
You know, it was a way of putting,
It's
you know,
very old
taking
school.
that stuff and putting it in the universe.
Mm-hmm.
That ended up being really effective, and I don't know why they had to do it the other way with the kid.
Yeah, that was weird. The soundtrack though is fantastic.
Oh my god, the soundtrack is so good. And everyone is talking about Megalobox, and no one is talking about how good the soundtrack is.
I feel like people are, but like they were talking about it weeks ago.
Yeah, it's just... It was top-notch from beginning to end.
Yeah, and like it is easily so far my favorite soundtrack of the season. I doubt that anything's gonna top it this year.
For not knowing what's going to come out, I would tend to agree with you.
I mean, Attack on Titan season 3 has a chance, but because Sawana, but
Yeah.
that's where he does his best work. But this is gonna apparently be more of like a character-driven season. This is what we're talking about anyway.
Yeah,
So-
but this is the Megalobox soundtrack is a soundtrack I could actually listen to
Oh yeah.
independently from.
Oh totally. I already have it like downloaded on Spotify.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, it goes up there. I mean, I don't know if it quite hits like the bebop level.
No, it's
But
not
it's
that
up
listenable.
there.
But like, if I was going to, you know, if I go to Japan and I'm doing karaoke in Japanese, the OP to Megalobox is way up there for me.
It really fits your style. God, what else do we want to say about Megalobox? I mean, we talked about how good it was, and then we bitched about it, and then we talked
Yeah,
about how good it was.
You know, like those are really small nitpicky complaints.
Yeah.
The show's gorgeous. It, you know, it sounds good. It looks good. The plot's fantastic. Like, you know, it mirrors a lot of what happened in the Shio no Joe, including some subversion. So anyone who enjoyed that show should still enjoy this. You know, it is very much a love letter to it. Yeah, the characters were great.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like,
I actually really ended up liking the woman in the story,
yeah,
and I hate that there was just the one woman.
the woman, yeah.
The woman, but I ended up liking her as a character more than I thought I would.
Yeah.
I mean, because she was kind of aloof throughout the whole thing, but there were a few moments where she showed that she really actually has like control of her.
Well,
world.
she has the company by the balls.
Oh yeah, she
yeah.
is an impressive woman.
Yeah, like it is a little bit male slanted, but it's because it's boxing.
Yeah, and
Like straight up boxing, there's not really like there's like women's kickboxing and women's mixed martial arts, but straight up boxing
pretty
really
sure
isn't.
there is women's boxing.
I'm sure there is, but it's not big.
That's true.
Like, I don't think there's televised events for it. Not like on the same level.
On the other hand, neither one of us really watches boxing.
Yeah, but I hear when there's a big fight in women's MMA.
Yeah. But
you know, I know who Ronda Rousey is. You know?
Everyone knows who Ronda Rousey is. Though.
Exactly.
And that has nothing
She's
to do
from a
with
sport
her
that
fighting.
exists.
But that has nothing to do with her fighting.
True.
You know, it has everything to do with her personality.
Yeah.
But anyway, Megalobox. Anything else we want to say about Megalobox?
Ronda Rousey's on it at 0 out of 10. Keep it all the conversation topical.
Oh, absolutely.
That's what you expect from us.
Yeah.
What are we even doing anymore?
I don't even know.
Megalobox. 9 out of 10. Fantastic show. I had a couple of weird moments. You know, it harkens back to something I haven't watched and don't have a ton of interest in. But it was a show that really impressed me. It's a show I highly recommend. Anyone who likes old school anime, anyone who likes sports anime, anyone who likes anime.
Yeah, I think I'm really on the fence between 8 and 9 because it is a fantastic show. It is a wonderful show, but at the end of the day, it's still a sports anime, and that only really interests me so much.
Yeah.
You know, you have to like sports anime, I think, to get the most out of this.
Yeah, like, I think that I wouldn't recommend it to, you know, a Mr. Moe Blob or anything, but anyone who likes, like shonen anime of any kind, I'd recommend it.
Yeah.
It's really exciting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. Alright, so next up. Ooh.
So, these two are kind of weird. We're going to talk about Fully Coolly Progressive and Darling in the Franxx. Darling in the Franxx, of course, started the season before, and Fully Coolly Progressive was 6 episodes, so it started mid-season. So we didn't have an opening on this one.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about it at all.
Yeah, we didn't open either of these. I think in one of our other shows, we mentioned that we were watching Fully Coolly.
Yeah, but only for like a second.
Yeah.
So let's start with that one.
Ooh, Fully Coolly.
Oh, I have a long history with this show because I watched it when it aired the first time. And it was like nothing I'd ever seen. It took me 3 watches to actually feel like I understood what I was seeing.
Yeah, I actually bounced off. Like, anyone who's listened to this knows my style enough to know that this is a show I should really like. I actually bounced off. It was so weird. Like, I was tired when I first started watching it, and, like, I could not keep up with it.
Yeah.
It took me, like, a couple of weeks before I went back to it, and, like, I think I watched that episode again, and I had to just push through it. That show is fantastic. Fully Coolly Progressive continues to be great. It's very different.
It is.
And did you have anything else to say about original Fully Coolly? I kind of cut you off there.
Not really. Just that it is something that's near and dear, and I do continue to recommend it to people, even so many years later. Because it doesn't feel like a show that's as old as it is.
True. How old is it? Like,
you
know, it feels like a show that came out in 2004.
I think it's about 15 years old, maybe 20. Maybe 20. I'll
we
look
do
it
have
up.
computers in
We
front
have
of
the
us.
internet now.
Yeah, like, it is a weirdly long time for us to get progressive, too.
It is.
And
18 years old. It came out in
Christ.
2000.
Yeah, it feels a little newer than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, like, since then, not a lot of shows like it have come out.
There have been a few shows that have tried.
Yeah.
But they never really seemed to grasp what it was that made the show so special.
Yeah, and there's shows that I think of in the same vein, but they're not about the same themes. Or, like, they're about the same themes and they're not in the same vein. Like, I think of, like, similar shows. I think of things like Space Dandy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, stuff that...
Space Dandy definitely has the spastic element going on.
Yeah, it has that spastic...
Where
it has the multiple styles. It shifts. It tells stories.
Yeah. But it definitely doesn't have the same... it doesn't resonate as strong with themes, even...
Yeah, it's... Yeah.
Let alone the same ones. What would I put as the same themes? I mean, a lot of shows explore these things.
Yeah, it's all about growing up. It's all about, you know, experiencing life how you want it.
Yeah.
That's the...
And taking
hers
charge of your
whole thing.
own and taking charge of your own destiny. So these are themes that we see in so many shows.
Literally every shonen.
Yeah. But none of them have really been able to quite hit the nail on the head so well to me.
Like, there's very few shows that are like this weird and relatable.
Yeah.
And I think that in that aspect, Fully Coolly Progressive is less relatable. Like, it's less... It feels like less of a personal story. It feels more like an overall story.
It depends on how well you resonate with the main girl.
She's very hard to resonate with, though. You know, she has that quiet girl thing, but, like, she is very odd.
She's literally hiding from the world. You know, she's walking through life wearing a pair of headphones all the time. Mm-hmm. And this is a thing that people do.
Yeah, like...
So there are people that I feel can identify with her very strongly.
Yeah, I shouldn't say that she's impossible to resonate with. I should say that she's purposely... she's not as simple as say, the main character in the original Fully Coolly series. I'm blanking on his name. Naota. Who is like this blank slate, you know, young boy. You know, she is a character that may hide from the world, may be very shy, maybe not even like people that much, is how she comes across. But like, she's very different in her own mind. You know, you get a dream sequence in like 4 of the episodes, and they're all fucking weird.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think I kind of identified with her a little bit more than you did.
Yeah, probably.
Because I've done that whole kind of sleepwalking through life thing. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I don't know how I feel about it being her story about, you know, learning to interact with the world. As much as I did Naota's.
Naota also just kind of had more going on.
That's true.
Like, this story is also a lot about the boy, I'm totally spacing his name, and like the whole thing going on with the theme park and those people.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna jump into a couple of criticisms I have about the show. Yeah. So overall, I did like it. I enjoyed it. I had fun watching it. But I feel like it tried a little too hard.
I mean, it would hardly be Fully Coolly if it wasn't trying too hard.
Well, it was trying too hard to be like the original. Yeah. In that it hit the same story beats at the more or less the same time. And it also reused a lot of concepts from the original, like a lot of events. Yeah. Where they had an opportunity to make it its own thing, and they didn't. It was a little too nostalgic. Yeah. I think.
I'm interested in what they're going to do with Alternative in regards to that, because Progressive feels like season 2. Yeah,
it does.
It feels like it is the continuation that we've been waiting for. It answers some questions, I guess, in a way.
Which I was a little unhappy with the idea that they were answering questions. Like, you know, there's stuff that happened that makes things that happened in season 1 make more sense. But it didn't really need to.
I mean, the biggest thing it actually addresses is Haruko's feelings for Conti, for the... Atavus, yeah. Because she has...
what her whole deal was.
Yeah, because she has the whole split of the other girl with the car. Like, they infer that she's split off of her and she's the actual love for him. And Haruko becomes the full savage want for power.
Yeah, well, Haruko was always like that.
Yeah, but, you know, it infers that she actually did care about him on some level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say that I enjoyed that they didn't portray Haruko as a good person.
Oh yeah. They went straight forward, and she is the worst thing ever.
She is an agent of chaos from day one.
Yeah.
Um,
Literally. Yeah.
you know, because I feel like, you know, everyone loves her as a character, and so I feel like people are a little too sympathetic toward her and her motives.
Oh yeah, her motives are strictly wrong. Like, they always have been. She's always, you know, been self-centered, and that's her entire point.
Yeah, is that she wants what she wants, and she'll do whatever it takes to get what she wants, without regard to what it does to literally anyone else around.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate that they kind of kept that in her character, because it didn't show quite as much in the first season.
Yeah, like, because she was trying to hide it. Like, now she's too powerful to care. You know, now she doesn't give a shit about any of these kids. She's not trying to convince them of anything, really.
Yeah, she just...
She may or may not be sleeping with one of them.
I'm pretty sure she did.
Yeah.
I mean, like...
It's at least what he says. Yeah.
Yeah, and she certainly acts around him like they did.
Yeah. Which is super weird. A little fucked up, but...
But she's done that before. So I think it's a good continuation, but it doesn't feel finished. So I'm gonna be waiting for alternative.
Yeah, it definitely was made in mind of alternative. Like, if this was actually the end, it would feel really weird.
Yeah.
But it's a bridge to whatever they're going to do with alternative. I figure alternative's going to bring back some characters.
I think so.
Like, Naoto's in the ED of Progressive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was a little surprised we didn't see him.
Yeah, I didn't think we'd see him in Progressive. I thought we'd see him in alternative.
Well, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
I don't know. When is Alternative's coming out?
Like, end of the year?
This fall? Let's see.
Yeah, it's not like with a season necessarily, because all through, it's always coming out first through Cartoon Network.
Early September.
Oh, okay. September 8th, it looks like.
Yeah.
A little late for my birthday, guys.
It's okay. I'm getting my present is coming a little late too.
Yeah.
The My Hero Academia movie comes out the day after my birthday. All right. So is that all we want to say about that?
Yeah, I think so. Like, we could deep dive into Fully Clearly Progressive, but again, it'd be like tearing apart each episode. Yeah.
Yeah. We might do that at some
If
point.
we're gonna tear apart any show in this episode, it's Darling in the Franxx.
Oh my god. Darling in the Franxx.
I don't even know what to. I don't know what to say about this fucking show. Like, I enjoyed it. I will say I enjoyed the whole thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't good all the way through.
No, it wasn't. I will
The
say
ending was so bad.
It was enjoyable, but yes, the ending was not good at all. I would say the last several episodes were not good.
Yeah. So there's a caveat here that Studio Trigger, who are the creative minds behind the show, left the production around episode 15.
Yeah, they storyboarded through episode 15 and then left.
Yeah. So the entire show after that was up to the director and A1 Pictures. Which means, well, things get a little weird. And I'm pretty sure they did everything they could to reference old Gainax products just to seem like they were still relevant to the audience they were targeting.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't have felt like a Trigger production at all if it didn't reference older things that Trigger people have done.
Yeah, like...
Because they all do that.
Oh, yeah.
And so I kind of feel like some of it was planned from the beginning.
Yeah,
But
I don't know. Like, I don't know if Verm was always planned.
I don't know. That was fucking weird.
I like the theory because there was a theory that Ape was aliens online. I like the theory that they saw the theory and they decided that's a better story than we can figure out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I didn't even hate that plot twist. It just...
I didn't hate it because I'm like, oh, cool. I get to watch Gunbuster, and it doesn't have production problems. I think the best Skynex reference in the whole show is the fact that the ending goes to shit. I even saved me that joke for a genuine reaction.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that is the most Skynaxy part.
I really wish the last episode was a slideshow. I really would have loved it if the last episode was a slideshow. You know, could they at least have had a thank you for watching and like comic marker? Really get at it, you know?
Yeah, so what the actual fuck? Like...
Yeah, so... This show, like, I actually really enjoyed the first 6 episodes of this show. Like, I thought that it had the potential to be one of my favorite anime of all time, easy.
Yeah,
And then, like, episodes 7 through 15's, like, the second arc. So, the way that this story was set up was 1 through 6 is the first arc. It sets up, Zero Two in the team. And then, 7 through 15, then the rest of the series is split. 7 through 15 and 16 through 24.
I would argue that between 16 and 24 there's another split.
Kind of. But this is the way they had, like, planned to set it up. When they talked about it in the live action with the cast that they did. And so I really loved 1 through 6. And then 7 through 15, there's a lot of character building, and it gets really, really slow. You know, there's some episodes I love, like, I love Goro's episode, because Goro's the best. I'm glad his ending actually ended up well.
Mostly.
I mean, you know, he still could have picked a better girl, but...
Yeah. Are we going to talk about that later, or do we want to talk about that now?
I'm still making a point. But, like, so, through 15 climaxes really well. You know, on the whole thing. I'd almost wish the series ended there. And then, like, 16, it slows way the fuck down again. And then she just gets weird. You know, that's when they take a whole episode for a wedding, and they immediately wipe their minds. Like,
but then the girl is pregnant, and, like, nobody fucking noticed.
Yeah.
When they're doing all, like, the brain wipey and shit.
Yeah.
Like, although there was a suggestion that maybe Dr. Franks noticed and left it there on
He
purpose.
probably did, but he wasn't in charge of it. He didn't want their minds wiped.
Yeah, because, I mean, you know, remember he was, because we got in the exposition episode, you know, he was going to have a child with his wife, like an actual child, and then she died. So the idea is that maybe he was a little sympathetic toward it.
Yeah.
Because of his own personal experience there.
Yeah, and, like, that's whatever. Dr. Franks has a really weird part in the series because the story starts to focus on him and then immediately kills him.
I actually kind of liked that.
I liked it too, but, like, it was a bit cut, but, like, we got this whole episode of exposition.
And then the next episode, literally none of it matters.
Mm-hmm. You know, if that whole exposition episode was to set him up as the character for the rest of the series, he should have been leading for the rest of the series, right?
I would think so, but I feel like it's more of an explanation of what what brought us to this point, I think, is what that was about.
Yeah, but it makes the whole Verm twist even weirder. Because it makes the shift in the show even more drastic.
Well, one thing it does do is it points out, I mean, even though we've been seeing it a lot, in like every interaction with Ape. Every interaction with Ape is fucking weird from day one.
Yeah.
But up to that point, we're given the idea that it's just because, like, they're using these kids, and because they're just using these children and treating them like this, of course we're naturally not going to like them.
Yeah.
You know, it's not... It is indicating, but it's not indicating that there's something fucking wrong with them. But the exposition episode actually does show us some weird fucking behaviors from Ape and some very strange ideas. And the idea that that their motives are more sinister than they appear.
Yeah, but even then, like, it doesn't really fit with their motives that they end up having, like...
Well, yeah, because their motives they end up having is just, let's all become one.
Yeah, and, like, it's inferred that they tried to get mankind to a certain point. Like, it's all really weird bullshit.
Yeah, well, they're trying to lead mankind to the point that they want to join them.
Yeah. And it just really doesn't make sense if you tear into any of it.
No, it really doesn't. It's poorly executed, I think.
Oh, it's terribly executed, honestly.
I think there are better ideas behind it than what they ended up using.
Yeah, and they started so many, like, world-building threads. And then they went with the worst ones.
Yeah.
Like... They made it seem like the world was ravaged, but it was ravaged by just depleting natural resources that shouldn't have bothered it like the way that they do.
Yeah,
because like the world is Earth, but it
one
also
of its
just
foundations is bad science.
Yeah. Yeah, it gets really silly really quickly.
Yeah, because using magma energy, like, makes people immortal or something. We fucking use magma energy now.
Yeah, but the magma energy they're talking about is hibernating Klaxosaurs.
Yeah.
Like, that's the whole thing, and it's like... but we're also supposed to believe that, like, before this all happened, it's basically Earth.
And they said as much.
Yeah. But at the same time, it totally isn't because there's giant Klaxosaurs sleeping under the ground that we never noticed.
Yeah, so it's some weird alternate universe.
Yeah, and like there's a bunch of fucking plot threads that never get resolved because the ending is so weird. Like, for example, the wings in episode 6
that never come back ever.
The red Stolicia in episode 15. The hand in episode 15.
The hand, I think, bothers me more than anything else because the wings and the red Strelitzia at least are kind of pointing to the idea that Strelitzia can become something else, which it eventually did.
Yeah. But then it just acted as a key. It just Gurren Lagann.
Yeah. But yeah, the giant hand. Like, obviously that was a Klaxosaur of some kind, but...
It seemed humanoid, too. But there's no Klaxosapiens.
Except the one.
Yeah. So it wasn't that. It wasn't intelligent. It's just a hand. Don't worry about it. Relax.
Yeah, like, I think we watched that episode and we literally just looked at each other and went, are we watching Fooly Cooly right now? Yeah.
Yeah, it couldn't find the iron, so it just left. Like,
yeah. And
also, like, didn't it, like, crush the base that ended up being the giant robot that Cilicia goes into? Like,
I think so.
The whole thing with that is a mess. Like,
yeah.
Because, like, Ape controlled that, but they also just didn't control it at all because they could waltz right in. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, in the end, like, if it's a fine show as long as you don't look at it too hard, I think.
Yeah.
When you start looking at it too hard, when you start looking at it, like, really at all, if you start to analyze it, there's just so many holes.
Yeah.
So many things that don't make any goddamn sense.
Yeah, and like, I think one of the bigger problems too is like the romance in the show is really bad.
Oh my god, it's so bad. And I know it's supposed to be like, you know, these kids don't know anything about love and about romance, and so they're just doing based on instinct, but...
Yeah, but also tries to, like, be deep and emotional. It really fails on all fronts when it comes to love.
Yeah, all I really saw was a bunch of pathetic, obsessive children.
Yeah.
Every one of them is obsessive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were all Futoshi. Like, and
Yeah.
Futoshi's the only one that's pointed out to be like that.
Yeah, he's the only one who ever gets any shit for his behavior.
Yeah, and it's only because the girl didn't like him back.
Yeah.
You know, she
Oh.
said she did that.
And remember
Cunt.
when he was bulimic for half an episode?
Yeah.
They never talk about it again.
Yeah.
Like, what? I was actually legitimately pissed with the way they treated Futoshi's character.
Oh, it's.
I mean,
he's
he was a
treated
piece
so,
of shit.
He's
but-
treated so badly, and like he was so interesting. There's even that like one episode where he's the narrator,
Yeah.
and they're like pretending like they're gonna make him a good character.
And no, he's just a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And although that mustache at the end makes up for all of it.
Oh, I fucking love that mustache. And his like family of like 17.
Yeah. But it feels at that point it feels like spite. He's like, I'm gonna show that bitch about making babies.
Yeah, you think you can make a baby? I'll make all the babies. Ha ha ha.
So I mean, he's still a piece of shit, but whatever, right?
Yeah.
At least he's happy and he finds a girl.
Yeah, the last episode really, I couldn't, you know, we talked about how we could not give a shit about anything that was going on with space, anything that was going on with Hero and Zero
Yeah.
Two.
After the end of the previous episode, when Strelitzia just turns into a giant Zero-Two, Zero-Two becomes the giant robot.
Because
Oh
Apis
yeah,
is
okay,
different.
right. But no, so Zero-Two becomes the giant robot,
Yeah.
and her in a wedding dress, and Hero is inside of her, and they sail off through the portal into the sunset. I stopped giving a shit about them altogether. As far as I'm concerned, their story was over.
Mm. Like they had to go do the thing. And
But we knew
hey,
that.
has anyone watched Gunbuster? If you watch Gunbuster, you know what happens. So I stopped caring.
Yeah, and the way that they did it could not have been less interesting
Oh yeah.
to watch.
They just waltzed in.
And just
And then-
magic beam, everybody explodes. Magic beam, everyone explodes. Like they could have done some really cool space battle shit, and they didn't.
Yeah, and like the Deus Ex Machina was friendship.
Literally,
Yeah.
it was literally the power of friendship, where they're like chanting back on Earth.
Yeah, and they have no way to know that this is working.
Yeah,
Like the
except
you know,
that
and
we feel like our job is done.
yeah, and the whole reason they know to do this is because Kokoro's daughter is like, darling.
Yeah.
at the fucking stone statue of Zero Two.
Yeah,
It
it
is
was
so
so
dumb.
messed up.
It's like, you know, it's like, am I watching an episode of Fairy Tale now? Like, what the fuck is this?
It was almost hilariously bad.
Yeah, like the stuff that was happening on Earth was kind of cute.
Well, yeah, like they're rebuilding, they're learning
Yeah.
to do things that have been forgotten for centuries.
Yeah, and like Goro suddenly becomes cool.
Yeah, and he goes off on an adventure with a cool new outfit,
Yeah.
and basically Ichigo can fuck off
Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah, he leaves her with a kiss, and then he comes back for her because, she can't get anyone else.
Yeah, and she basically settles at that point. She's like, well, I guess Hero's gone forever. I guess you'll do. It's
Yeah.
kind of how that ending felt to me from her side.
Yeah, it is like, I like to think that she finally realized, hey, he's the coolest person on Earth now.
Yeah. And Hero ran off and left us. What an ass.
Yeah.
You know, Goro deserved better, but at least he's happy.
Yeah.
You know, if he's happy, I guess I'm not going to complain too much. I'm just glad he survived through the whole thing. I expected far more characters to die.
Yeah. Fucking no one dies.
Dr. Franks died.
Yeah. And he dies in the stupidest fucking way, too.
Are you kidding? That was brilliant. I loved it.
I know, but it's like they're gonna have a character die. Well, all the nines die too.
That's true, and they died in the dumbest fucking way.
Yeah. Well, they were dying anyway. No one knew how to take care of them.
Yeah. You know, but it felt like they kind of tried to give them a moment, but the moment was really flat.
Yeah. The whole fight was flat. Like, you know, I'm gonna be a fanboy here and say that all the fights were flat at the end because Maishi wasn't directing them.
Yeah.
That's why the fights at the beginning were so fucking cool.
Was he not directing those episodes?
He's with Trigger.
But I don't. Does that mean he didn't stay? Because I know
I
some
assume he
people
didn't
stayed.
stay.
Maybe
because
we should find
it does
out.
not look like a Maishi directing.
It really didn't.
Like it yeah. It was real bad directing. I don't think they ever said anything. Like, because Hiyuki Maishi's only directing the action scenes, and he was doing that with Trigger.
Alright, so the director for Darling in the Franxx is listed as Atsushi Nishigori.
Yeah, like,
who has previously worked on the Idolmaster movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this guy. Yeah, I'm not gonna shit on him for what happened. Like, you know, he did a fine job, and he got a lot dumped in his lap after the creative team left. So, you know, he did what he could.
Yeah.
But, you know, and the directing's not bad, particularly the stuff that isn't action scenes. Like,
yeah.
Well, that was the balance in the beginning. Is he did everything, and then the action scenes went to Trigger.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, once Trigger left,
the action scenes got really not good.
Yeah.
There were hardly any to begin with. And the ones that were there were...
Oh, I should mention my favorite thing in the last episode. Hopefully you all have seen the meme of the terrible, terrible phonemes in episode 15. My favorite thing is when they're flashing back through memories, they fixed and they show 02 in that frame. They fixed it. They fixed the 2 seconds of animation of her talking to Hiro. And it's just ever so slightly better.
Well, let it never be said that they don't pay attention.
Yeah.
You know, I guess this is an advantage to them working on a weekly schedule.
Yeah, I hope that's on the Blu-rays, right? Like.
Oh yeah, well that'll all get fixed for the Blu-rays.
Can the ending get fixed? Can the storytelling get fixed?
Maybe we'll get an after story, or something.
10,000 years later.
Yeah, well, I mean, we did have the 10,000 years later, the reunion of the baby hero in 02, and
I really wanted
fucking reincarnation ending. God damn it.
Yeah, I really wanted there to be like "Welcome Home" in Japanese in the background.
Yeah.
I didn't make you watch Gunbuster.
Not yet.
I really should have.
Yeah.
So we could talk about
You need to watch Die Buster.
True.
Because in reading episode threads online for this show, I saw, especially in the last few episodes, I saw people talking about Die Buster a lot.
Yeah.
Saying there's a lot of parallels there, so...
I've been meaning to watch Die Buster. Yeah. That's one I've been meaning to watch with my mech friend Josh. My friend who is a mech. Yes.
Yes, he really is.
Yeah. He's only 10 stories tall, it's fine.
But yeah, I don't know how I feel about this show.
Yeah. I give the show a 6. It's a show that had a lot of potential. It had some great moments, but
it was fun to watch week 2.
Overall, crashed and burned.
Oh yeah, it crashed and burned. Although this happens a lot with anime, I think.
Oh, I know. This crashed and burned like when it crashes and burns in 2 episodes, that's one thing. When it crashes and burns in like 6 or 7, that's when it loses score.
Yeah. Because I feel like a lot of times they just don't know how to end the fucking story.
That's one thing. Like, they definitely didn't know how to end this story. So they gave
it every ending possible.
Yeah.
But no, it was fun to watch week to week. I don't know if I would have enjoyed it as much if I was watching it all together.
Yeah, see, what I really would have loved is if the ending was actually, instead of them just like fading out and dying, if it was Hero punched right through Zero Two's giant apis face into Verm and it became an anthropomorphized creature, and then he punched through it with his drill hand.
Although, did you see that there kind of was like a drill in that scene?
Yeah. Oh,
like
it's
the big
this,
lance.
It's the lance. Yeah, that's always been in the series.
Yeah.
I thought I had that notification off. I'm sorry about that.
See, this is why I just shut off Discord completely.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, there was a callback to lots of things, but yeah, it was fun to watch week to week, and I think that's about it.
Yeah, that's about the best I could say about it, honestly.
Yeah, I would also say 6 or 7. I think I tend to rate shows higher than you do. In general. Because like it was above average. Most average things I would tend to just drop.
Yeah, that's fair.
So
That's the thing.
yeah, I would say 6 or 7 for this.
I can agree. I 7 is the realm of a good show for me. Like a show that I would recommend actively.
Yeah.
You know, it might be a little more niche, but like 6 is, I recommend it with the caveat it has problems.
Yeah,
Like massive
6,
problems.
Yeah, I think 6 is kind of like, I would recommend it if you liked A, B, or C,
Yeah.
or if it fits into a certain category of things. Like, you know, if you like other things Studio Trigger has done, you might want to check this out. Maybe.
Yeah, it's.
I just as an example, I don't think I would necessarily recommend it, but they did work on it. So
Yeah,
if
I
you
think-
want to see everything they've ever done, you're gonna have to watch it at some point.
Yeah, I'd have to watch it, no matter how badly it went. So, I would say to Studio Trigger fans, watch episode 1 through 6, then stop. Yeah, because only dangers go from there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you can watch like episode 15, but after that point, Studio Trigger does not work on it. So, yeah.
So at that point, just keep watching if you're invested in it.
Yeah.
You're probably not really gonna be.
I mean, you're probably invested if you just watched episode 15.
That's true.
Episode 15 was good. Like, it was exciting.
Yeah.
It set up a lot of expectation. And then episode 16, 17, and 18 did everything they could to temper that.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's spring 2018.
Yeah, it is.
It's a spring 2018 season. We fucking made it.
Yeah. So, right after this, we're going to record summer 2018.
Yep, because we're already finished watching all that stuff. We have some really good stuff to say, some really weird stuff to say.
Yeah. Not as much good stuff as this season, unfortunately.
Yeah,
but
we'll talk about that in the next episode.
yeah, come back for that. I can't rip that off, can I?
I don't think you can.
Bye!
Bye!